What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Base Damage, and I hope you are all having a wonderful day. We're going to be continuing looking over the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure new English sets that we're going to be getting, the premium boosters. This one, we're going to be looking over Stone Ocean. I've already covered Stardust Crusaders in another video from last week. Do please go check it out, because I'm hyped for JoJo, and this is just going to be a really fun set. If this one pans out as cool as the Stardust Crusaders one did, I'm definitely going to be hyped for these two sets coming out. So something I did want to cover really quick, because I forgot to mention this in the last video though, was that if you go over to the English Weiss page and look up each of the sets, you scroll down to the bottom. The cards in this booster pack may be used together with cards that begin with JJ, which is the JoJo's thing. The thing. Part of the card numbers. If you look, say, even at the Golden Wind cards, obviously, it has JJ in there. So I forgot to mention, obviously, the premium booster cards can obviously be mixed together. Because of this, you just obviously have to be mindful of traits, which doesn't seem like, I'm assuming it's not going to be anywhere near as bad, but once we start going through the Stone Ocean cards, we'll see. But like, even off the first three cards here, they all have stand or stand user, which is all that Stardust Crusaders had. Now, the reason I have this particular thing from TCG Player pulled up was because I think most of the Golden Wind cards, I haven't looked through all of them, because we have Part 5 already in English. They have JJ, meaning you can mix in Part 5 cards. However, where Part 3 and Part 6 cards are probably all going to be stating stand user, they can interact with cards like this, but I think most of the cards in Part 5 didn't say stand or stand user. They said cards like this: search your deck for a Golden Wind character. I think they made that not knowing if they would get like a chance to be able to bring over more parts in English, or even just make more parts in general. So they just went with the Golden Wind trait. So I don't know how many of the cards are just focusing on the Golden Wind trait. I remember I was like, oh, wait, I think that was a thing. I need to pull this up and look. It's just been forever since I looked at the Golden Wind set, so forgive me on that. But where the Part 5 cards look like they're probably going to focus on Golden Wind characters, there might be a little bit of trait issues with that, but you can use the cards from it if you so desire. You can mix them into the same deck from what this is saying, obviously. So, just wanted to point that out real quick before we got into this. I'm going to F11 this, and let's start. Immediately, I have a gripe, and that is, they did what they did in Golden Wind as well. They abbreviated stuff. This is White Snake, is the stand name. Also, because I don't remember all of the stand names, that's whatever, So, we'll see. I see some cool effects and whatnot in here, but obviously, like, they had to abbreviate a lot of the stand names, which is kind of fair. You have a lot of them are gonna be like references to bands like Survivor and stuff like that, or Limp Bizkit, Foo Fighters. And so to avoid copyright issues, they had to just abbreviate the stand names instead of actually having it fully out there. So big sag, but it is what it is. At least Stardust Crusaders doesn't have that issue because they were based off Arcanas. So anyway, let's get into it. White Snake. 00500. When this is placed on stage from hand, choose one of your opponent's characters and one of its traits. Send all markers underneath that character to the waiting room, and this turn that character loses that trait. So I'm assuming you get the character to lose their traits even if they don't have markers, but if they just so happen to have markers, they lose those as well, which is like really crazy. Which is, once again, JoJo loves to do this, and that's technically flavor for what White Snake is able to do. For anyone who's seen Part 6, the whole disc thing, you can see the disc that it's able to pull out from people as like, imagine those as if that was the markers, you know? So, it makes sense, like, with, what the powers of the stands are able to do. It's kind of cool. It's like with the next one with Viviano, it's very much like in that realm. But the second effect is when this is placed on stage from hand, you may discard a card. If you do, reveal the top card of your deck, choose one level X or lower stand character in your waiting room, and add it to your hand. X is equal to the level of the revealed card. Also, to avoid having a Chainsaw Man issue with Devil Hunter Devil, where it says stand user or stand character, more than likely, like, it's going to be the same as it did with Stardust Crusaders, where every single one of the cards has one or the other. It's either going to be stand or stand user. I'm just going to say stand character, and just please understand through the rest of the video that that encapsulates both of those traits. Just throwing that out there. Also forgot to mention, there's only 2 colors in this set, yellow and blue. Interesting choice. They only did yellow and red for Stardust Crusaders. I thought that was crazy. So, anyway, continuing on. Viviana. If a climax with a choice trigger is in your climax area, this card in any area gains the shot trigger. So, one, bringing back a little bit of shot. That's kind of cool. I like the idea of that. That's really neat. Then in Act 2, send this to the bottom of your deck. Choose one of your stand characters. It gets 3,500 power. So, a little bit extra buff. And then just like a little bit extra for those two, because it's been forever since we've seen it. The shot triggers are when this card gets triggered, if the damage dealt by this attack is canceled, burn your opponent for 1. So really cool there. The green baby, which is a stand user trait. When this is placed on stage from hand, you may discard 1 card. If you do, look for a particular level 1 Enrico Pucci, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, and then it has a rest to give one of your stand characters 1,500 power. So, very, very creepy, but let's also zoom in a little bit more. So, my head's going to be covering some of this, I'm sorry, but just helps. Then we have Enrico Pucci, we have Brainstorm. Oh, interesting. Pay 1, rest this, mill 5 for, okay. If there is a climax amongst those 5 with a choice trigger, look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 card amongst them, add it to hand, send the rest to waiting room. So as long as you reveal a choice trigger, you get to do the effect. It doesn't proc for every single choice trigger you reveal. That's the downside there. So if you mill 3 climaxes with choice triggers, you're just out 3 climaxes. You don't get to do this effect 3 times. So, at least by this wording, it doesn't. So, anyway, Enrico, let's see. When this is placed on stage from hand, discard a stand, search your deck for either a Donatello Versus, or an Ungolo, or a Rikiel. So basically all of his, like, underlings. You get to add one of those to hand, and search your deck for one of them, add it to hand, shuffle the deck. Donatello, Raphael. Anyway. During your turn, all of your other stand characters get 500 power, and an auto. When your other character... Oh, so when a character dies, you can sack him to bring it back rested. Okay, cool. Good card, anyway. Kinzo, the Feng Shui dude. When this is placed on stage from hand, look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, put them back on top of the deck in the same order. Then your opponent looks at up to 3 cards from the top of their deck, and puts them back in the same order. Okay, so you get to look at the top 3, and your opponent gets to look at the top 3 for, like, no reason. Interesting. No cost to that, just saying. On attack, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a stand character, this gets +1 soul. Oh, okay, interesting. So you can purposely choose when he attacks to try to get the soul, to try to push for some damage. That's pretty cool. All your other characters get the following 2 abilities. This can't side attack, and they get an accelerate ability to give themselves 2,500 power. I stated this in the last one. They're trying to bring back, like, some older effects that just, like, don't need to be there. Like, this is such an old, like, effect, that old type of accelerate ability that just does not need to be in newer sets. So it's kind of whatever. Yo-Yo Ma. All of your opponent's characters get a reduced encore. And when this is placed on stage from hand, if your opponent has 1 or less characters in their front row, choose 1 cost 0 or lower character in your opponent's front row. You may send it to the bottom of your opponent's deck. So just the typical, like, you get to nuke stuff. John Gali. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what this guy's ability was. I remember his ability was kind of cracked. Oh, it let him like do some ricochet shenanigans. That's what it was. If I remember correctly. You cannot play events or backup from hand because he's oversized. When this card's battle opponent is reversed, you may send the top card of your opponent's clock to the waiting room, and if you do, send that character to clocks. Okay, so you purposely just get some good removal. I forget how you pronounce her name, if it was like Jwess or Gwess. I forget exactly how to pronounce her name. When this is placed on stage from hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a stand character, choose one of your opponent's front row characters, and it gets negative 6k. Damn. During this card's battle, when the damage you take is canceled, you may return this to your hand. So try to be able to possibly like nuke a character, bounce it back, and then nuke another character the next turn. Okay. S-Max. Oh my goodness, what was it? Her stand was like, oh no, it was that dude. I was looking at her stand's a different thing altogether. S-Max is a different cat. When this is placed on from hand to stage, discard a card. Choose a level 0 or lower character in your waiting room, place it on stage in any slot. You could potentially get back like a specifically level 0 or lower, not cost 0 or lower, which would have been way nicer. But you could get back like, you know, some brainstorms or some other good stuff in the back row. Or that, like, say the one that lets you save other characters. That's another good one. During your turn, when this is reversed, pay a stock to save itself for a turn. Okay. Enrico, we get another... I was supposed to say another. It's the first climax combo of this particular set. So we get to the first climax combo of the set. Enrico, if all of your characters are stand, this gets 2k, so it's a constant 6k. I like that. At the end of this card's attack, if you have the choice trigger in your climax area, and you have 2 or more other stand characters, look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 2, place them on top of your deck and in the order, and send the rest to waiting room. Then reveal the top card of your deck if that's a stand character added to hand. Okay, so it lets you do some filtering first. And you're like, okay, cool, I see 2 characters. I get to pick which one that I want. I actually kind of like this. It's better than the typical, like, just on attack, reveal the top card if it's a character added to hand type thing. I know that's usually dependent on the trait. I'm just stating. So I actually do kind of like this. This is pretty cool. We have Ungolo is a 1/0. Placed on stage from hand, you can pitch one, look at the top 4, choose up to 1 level 1 or lower character amongst them, place it on stage in any slot. Okay. Okay, Rikiel is when a climax is placed in your climax area, choose a character, it gains 2k. And an act, choose one of your opponent's front row characters. This turn it gets negative 3k. It's just, there's so much stuff in here that's all about like negative power, which is just... like, it fits, but still. Enrico... forgot how weird some of these people are in this freaking... so many weird characters in this show, but it's such a good show. Enrico, 1/1 is a... let's see. Place on stage from hand, choose up to 2 particular 2/2 characters from your waiting room and put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. And it does the fusion thing. Oh, yeah, I got you. It works with the green baby to summon out is like higher form and everything. That's actually really cool. So it's basically the Gurren Lagann thing. There's a particular green baby that you sack under him as a marker to summon a particular 2/2, which we'll get to in a little bit here. It's number 22. Let's see. And then you put this and the green baby under it as markers and all that. Thunder M. It's an anti-change reverser, stock reverser. So, let's see. Mirashan. Let's see. I think this was like the memory altering chip. The memory altering chip, I think. When this is placed on stage from hand, the opponent declares top or bottom. Then your opponent mills 1. If that card is level 0 or lower, your opponent declares top. Or if it was level 1 or higher and your opponent declares bottom, your opponent puts the top card of their stock to the waiting room. So there's, okay, I'm not going to sit here and try to explain this entire effect. Shenanigans happens if your opponent loses, they lose a stock. If they win, they gain a stock. That's all that turns out to be. Also, an act, rest 2 of your characters. This turn, all of your characters get +1 soul. So, potentially some soul rush shenanigans. Oh god, how do you pronounce her name? Miyushia? I don't remember how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry. Placed on stage, if your opponent has 4 or more memory, your opponent chooses 3 cards from their memory and sends all their cards from their memory to the waiting room. So just trying to keep your opponent from like memory compression too much. An act of pay 2, rest this, bounce back one of your opponent's characters. Lang Wrangler. Oh yeah, this was definitely a weirdo. God, I keep saying that, but like I said, there's so many like awesome characters in here as well. Just the like the style of part 6 is so funky to me. Level assist in front. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can discard a climax. If you do, choose one of your opponent's characters and send it to memory. At the start of the encore step, your opponent brings back that character from memory. So it's meant to just get something off the field temporarily. So, which is understandable. Maybe you need to. Who knows? Let's see. We have another climax combo with the White Snake. For each of your other back row stand characters, this gets 2,500 power. So it could be a 10-5. When the choice trigger is placed in your climax area, if this is in your front row until the end of your opponent's next turn, this gets 1,000 power and the ability. All of your opponent's characters in all zones lose their card names and cannot gain new card names. So this is specifically, obviously it's going to work. It's not going to affect things that are more trait locked. But if you do have something that's reliant on the names of particular characters on field, or in the waiting room, or something along those lines, it just completely prevents you from using those effects, which is kind of crazy. Let's see. Okay, so here's the 2/2 that you can Gurren log and summon out. If all of your characters are stand, this gains 3k, so it's basically a constant 10k, has 2 soul. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, if this card has a marker underneath, you can pay 1. If you do, choose a character in your waiting room, add it to hand. So if you purposely summon it out via the fusion effect, you can basically constantly have something to let you salvage stuff back, which is kind of nice, especially if your opponent's like, oh, I'm just going to ram into it and forgets this effect. Like, okay, cool, I'm just going to salvage back stuff and you know, set up my hand how I want. We got a level 3 Enrico. All of your characters, if all of your characters are stand, this gains 2k, so he's an 11 constantly. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can discard a card to put the top card of your clock into your stock. And when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you can pay 2. If you do, deal 1 damage to your opponent. It's fair. It's like nothing like crazy. Made in Heaven. Here we go. Whoa, I can already see this is insane. Climax combo for Made in Heavens. 3/2. 10k. At the start of your encore step, if this is in your front row, pay 8 stock, discard 4 cards, and sack the choice trigger. If you do, take another turn after this one. You basically just skip your opponent. This is... Which is very funny how this works out. There's a card in Yu-Gi-Oh! That like basically lets you skip your opponent's turn called Arcana Force the World. And Enrico's whole thing is that he admired Dio, whose stand was the world. So that's just hilarious to me that this basically lets you go, I'm going to skip your turn, and now I have another turn to try to push for damage. If this pops off, just this is hilarious to me. Like, the cost is extremely heavy because you're not meant to be able to get this off twice. If you somehow get this off twice, you are pulling some shenanigans. But yeah, Made in Heaven, it's busted in the show. It's going to be busted in the card game for very understandable reasons. So 1, 2, all 3 climaxes in yellow are choice trigger. And now we're getting into blue, the good guys, with a Weather Report, Jolene, and Stone Free, and all that. So, alright. Weather Report. We have a 00500. When this is placed on stage from hand, search your deck for a particular level 0 Weather Report, which is number 34 coming up. Show it to your opponent. Put it underneath this card face up as a marker. Oh, you don't have to pay a cost for this either. You just get to just add it underneath him as a marker for free. Let's see. Act ability to discard a stand character to summon that particular Weather Report out. At the end of your turn, you put that character underneath this card face up as a marker. Okay, cool. I kind of like that, and it kind of fits to just be able to go, cool, I play this, I instantly grab my stand from the deck and, like, put it underneath as a marker. So, that makes, like, that makes sense. And an act, rest this, choose one of your characters, it gets 1,000 power. So, we'll check out that weather report in a little bit here. But we have Jolene, the JoJo of Part 6. Experience of 3. So, at the start of your climax phase, if this sum of levels of cards in your level zone is 3 or more, choose a character, gains 1,000 power. Okay, kind of just a little bit extra there. Brainstorm, pay 1, rest this, mill 4. For each climax, you get to salvage back a character. Very standard. Costello with, what was it? Kiss? Or like, yeah, it was like Kiss for hers, because Spice Girls was someone else. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can discard a stand character, search your deck for one character with the same name as a character on your stage. Oh, this actually fits very well for her, because her whole thing was being able to duplicate stuff with her stand ability. So, show it to your opponent, add it to hand, and shuffle your deck afterwards. So, I got you. No, so that very much fits the power once again. Like, there's another card that fits the power very well. El Nino. Let's see. At the start of your opponent's attack phase, you can discard a card. If you do, choose one of your other characters and discard, send them to memory. At the start of your next draw phase, place those characters in memory onto your stage in separate slots. Just get stuff out of the way for a bit. Kind of interesting. Rest this. If you have another character with experience, choose one card in your level zone and one card in your waiting room and swap them. Interesting. All right, so here is... no, wait, was that weather report 32? It was 34, so it's not this weather report. It's this one, the stand itself. Okay, cool. Which is weird, because weather report was both the name of this dude and the name of the stand, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Anyway, when your other stand character is frontaled, you can pay 1, sack this. That character gains 3k. When this is placed on stage from hand, look at the top card of your deck, put it on top or bottom. Okay, cool. Foo Fighters. If you have another stand character, this gets 1,500 power. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1, pitch 1, search your deck for a stand character. So typical drop searcher. Okay. The weather report stand. During your turn, this gains 1,000. When this is placed on stage from hand or by the effect of weather report, you can discard a... Oh, so you can just keep doing this effect over and over. That makes sense. You can discard a climax. If you do, choose a stand character in your waiting room, add it to hand. You can basically use this effect like every turn if it keeps coming in and out and in and out. And basically be able to pitch a climax to salvage back other stuff. And basically have a very interesting little loop here. Okay. Jolene, we have, when this is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1 and put 1 card from your hand into your clock. If you do, look at up to 6 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 2 stand characters amongst them, show to your opponent, add it to hand, send the rest to waiting room. Okay, that's actually really cool. So this could end up being a very good staple as well. Let's see, Foo Fighters, we have... I was like, wait, yeah, I do remember. Yeah, gotcha. I was trying to remember this particular moment. I'm going, wait a minute, hold up. During your opponent's turn, if you have 3 or less stock, this gets +1 level and 1,500 power. An act ability of pay 1, send this to the waiting room, look up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 stand character amongst them, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, and send the rest to waiting room. Cool. Then we have Narcisco A. Let's see. If you have 2 or less stock, this gets 1,500 power, and a climax combo. When the pants is placed in your climax area, if you have 2 or more other stand characters, choose a stand character in your waiting room and put it face up underneath this. Put it underneath this as a marker face down. Sorry. When your other character is sent from the waiting room to this, from stage to waiting room, you can sack a marker to bring that character back. Oh, okay. So you're just meant to keep putting like markers underneath him and just keep bringing characters back. That makes more sense. All right, really cool looking Jolene here, and it's your standard climax swapper. Really good, but just I love the art for this. That looks really cool. Jolene is a badass. Anyway, so we have double the weather report, triple the power. So free 2k backup. We have a Costello. I'm going to read this real quick while I take a drink. When this is placed on stage from hand, choose this Costello and put it underneath this Costello as a marker. When a climax gets placed, choose one of your characters against 3k. Act. Discard a character to summon this as onto the field. At the end of the turn, it goes back. Which makes it, like, the stand abilities, the stand plus stand user dynamic makes sense for, hey, send out my stand, it comes back at the end of the turn. Like, it makes sense. The Costello and Key, when a climax is placed in your climax area, this gets 3k power, so it's a 65. And it can do Twin Drive, which is being able to perform trigger check twice, which makes sense. And we have Jolene and Stone Free. 1-0. Placed on stage, pick one of the following two effects and resolve it. Either she gains 3k until end of turn, which makes her a 7k, or look at the top two cards of your deck, put them back on top of the deck in any order. That's okay. Narcisco and Didi. Let's see. Dirty Deeds. During your turn, if the sum of levels of cards in your level zone is 2 or more, this gains 2k power and gains the following ability. Okay, it's a level 2 Slayer, so it just gets really big. So it literally becomes like a 12k if it's attacking a level 2, which is crazy. When this is placed on stage your hand, you can rest one of your other stand characters. If you do, choose one card from your level zone and one card in your waiting room and swap them. Okay. So you rest, and it's meant to, like, try to fix your experience. Okay, that's really cool. Alright, then we have Jolene with a climax combo. For each other back row stand character that you have, this gains 500 power, so she'll be a 5/5. When this attacks, if you have the pants in climax area and the sum of your experience is 2 or more, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose one stand character amongst them, show it to your opponent, add it to hand, send the rest to waiting room. If you added a level 3 or higher character, you may draw a card as well, and if you do, discard one card. So a little bit of hand filtering on top of, like, everything else if you end up adding a level 3, which is really cool. So more Foo Fighters, hell yeah. Let's see, 1045. When this attacks, if the sum of levels, if your experience is 2 or more, choose one of your other stand characters. This gains 2k power. When this attacks this turn, all of your characters gain the following ability. When this character's trigger check reveals a climax, you can discard a climax to salvage back a stand character. Okay, so this is very nice. This is very nice. We have a 1/1. Ooh, wait, whoa, huh? It's a 2k backup, but when you use this card's backup, if you have an experience of 2 or more, pay 1, pitch 1, heal 1. Interesting. Okay. Jolene, we have a 2500 backup, and it's an anti-change backup. Pay 2, sack a character to send one of your opponent's characters to the waiting room that is higher level. Let's see. Costello, we're doing pretty decent on time for this one. 2/1 is a level assist in front, an act ability to pay 2, pitch a card, rest this. To salvage back a character, choose one character in your waiting room with a same card name as a character on your stage and place it on stage in any slot. I feel this is going to be very, very nice. So, to me, that could be kind of crazy. Narcisco, we have, if you have 2 or more other stand characters, this gains 6k power, so it's a 10/5. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can discard a stand character. If you do, choose another Narcisco coming up here. It's number 51 here. And in your waiting room, place it on stage in any slot. So just be able to summon more copies of itself, which is fair. Costello's not the only one that does some doubling here, but anyway. 217k during your turn. If you have experience of 5 or more, this gains 6k power. So it'll be a 13. And then it combos with the pants, so it'll be 14. If you have pants, when the battle opponent becomes reversed, and you have another stand character, draw up to 3 cards and then discard 2. So some very, very interesting, like, hand filtering there. The art for that looks so good. I'm sorry. I love the fucking JoJo's art, man. Narcisco, let's see. When this attacks, if the level of the character crosses 3 or higher, so we got a level 3 Slayer as well, becomes a 13. When your other stand character is frontaled, you can sack this for him for that character to gain 3k. Okay. Jolene and Stone Free is a 2k assist to characters in front. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1. If you do, choose one of the Jolene's coming up. It's this Jolene. In your waiting room, place it on stage in any slot. Okay, so you basically get to summon it for lower cost. When this is placed on stage from hand, if you have experience 6 or more, choose a character in your opponent's waiting room and place it on your opponent's stage in an empty slot. That tells me that this upcoming Jolene probably needs to reverse. So, weather report of 3285. Oh, really easy summoning condition. Also, the art for like his SB and everything looks really nice. Let's see. If you have 4 more stand characters, it gets minus a level in hand. Really easy. For each of your other stand characters, this gains 500 power, so easily becomes a 10-5. When this is placed on stage from hand, if you have experience of 6 or more, draw up to 2 cards, discard a card, draw up to 2, and then pick a card in your hand and put it in and send it to stock. So, very nice. Alright, so this... okay, it does have to reverse. 3-2 Jolene, it's a 9k. If you have 3 or more other characters, it gains 2k power. When this is placed on stage from hand, or by the effect of the other Jolene, you get to heal 1. At the end of this card's attack, if you have the pants trigger in play, and your experience is 6 or more, you can pay 1, pitch 2. If you do, deal 4 damage to your opponent, and if the character across from this is reversed, deal an additional 1 damage to your opponent. So a little bit extra damage you're able to pump. It's just... How much is that? How much is that? So 3 from her attack, because it's a pants trigger, 4, and then 1. So trying to deal like a good 8 damage with her. Pretty cool. I didn't think about this, but this is JoJo Part 6, and you have to have an experience of 6. Interesting. So just throwing that out there. We're almost done with this as well. 3-2 Narcisco and Jolene. When this is placed on stage from hand, you may perform the following effect. Your opponent chooses a climax in their waiting room, shuffles all other cards from their waiting room into their deck. So you decompress them a good bit. When this is placed on stage from hand, you may discard a card. If you do, choose one of your opponent's level 1 or higher characters. If you do, your opponent chooses one... Oh, you get to basically swap them. Okay. Your opponent basically has to pick sacks the character you chose, and they have to summon something that's 1 level lower than that character or more. And then try to summon... basically summons that new character back. So you make them sack a level 3, they have to summon back a level 2. A level 2 or lower. Then we have a counter event. Interesting. Oh, yay. So a 3-cost blue backup. If you have 5 or more stand characters, choose 1 battling character. This turn it gains the following ability. This cannot deal damage to players, and then choose one of your characters that gains 3k power. Yeah, part 3 JoJo coming in clutch to just save everybody. Yeah, that makes sense. And then the rest of the cards are the pants climaxes, which once again, the art from these look just so sick. But that one's crazy. Anyway. But yeah, we're just going to go back up here. Where was the one really... I will find it. I swear I will. There was like one of the Jolene's that was like really cool. Oh, here we go. So, we're going to end on this. If it will let me. It won't let me. Fine, we'll do this manually. Anyway, that looks sick. That looks so cool. So, I was very impressed by the Stardust Crusader set. I'm minus stuff like Made in Heaven, being able to just skip your opponent's turn. This particular the Stone Ocean set feels more like support. Obviously, both of the premium boosters were released in JP at the same time, and we're getting them at on the same exact day in English. Stone Ocean feels like it's meant to support Stardust Crusaders, if that makes sense. You do have a little bit of the overlap with yellow, because both of the sets have yellow. It's just the blue part of it feels more like support. There's still good effects, don't get me wrong. Even the Jolene finisher is able to do a good bit of damage and try to push for a good bit of damage as well. But outside of that, a lot of the other cards feel more like support. Things that are like, okay, this is specifically like a level 2 Slayer, a level 3 Slayer. Bringing multiple effects of being able to bring characters back. Bouncing other characters in and out. Sacking themselves to give other characters buffs. Which can all work in just a mono Stone Ocean deck, I'm very certain. In fact, I'm going to be trying to mess around with some decks for JoJo. But it definitely feels like more of the support side, even though you do have some really crazy offensive cards too. But that's just the overall vibe that I get. Stardust Crusaders felt more offensive, where this felt more of support. That's just my opinion on it, which is not a bad thing to say. I like the fact that there is synergy. Especially because I'm certain there's other good cards in Golden Wind that would go great with these cards. But it's because of the trait thing, and it's not so much trait lock. I mean, I guess it is a form of trait lock. But it's not so much that as I'm know for a fact they were not built to work together. If there is any kind of like overlap with some effects that work really well, that is probably coincidental and not intentional. So where these two sets, Stone Ocean and Stardust Crusaders, were meant to work together more than likely, I can see the synergies at looking at both to a degree. But no, I very much like it, and I'm excited for when these sets come out. They'll be coming out on October 4th. Overall impressions of both Stone Ocean and Stardust Crusaders, I love them both. I think it's going to be really cool. I said this in the last video as well. I would love to see JoJo at Worlds. I think that would be so cool, because how funny would it be? Someone rocks up with, you're holding up a Dio card, and so, hey, I'm at the Worlds, How funny would that be? I think that'd be cool. Anyway, thank y'all very much for watching. It is greatly appreciated. If you want to like and subscribe, feel free to do so. If not, hey, thanks for stopping by to check out the video. Get hyped for JoJo. We need, I just want to see part 4 now. Like, part 4 is my favorite one. I would love to see part 4 in Weiss now. I need to check and see if it's in JP or not. But it's probably not, so that is going to be it for us. Thank you once again for watching, and we'll see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.